longtime political operative and, of course, Donald Trump ally and confidant, Roger Stone is out with a new plan to make Donald Trump the president of the United States again. And we should all, revel in his political mastery with regard to this new plan. Now, before I get into the plan, let me preface it by saying that Roger Stone, among Republicans, at least for many decades, maybe not anymore, but he was once considered to be a brilliant political mind, right? Brilliant strategist. A guy that knew what the hell he was talking about and knew how to get things done. So what is this brilliant plan of his? Well, it hinges upon multiple different factors, all converging into one. First and foremost, Republicans have to take back the House of Representatives in the 2022 midterms. That's step one. And step, I guess you would call it 1A. When they get sworn in and they select their new speaker, they have to all agree to make Donald Trump the Speaker of the House. And as we've discussed, yes, that's totally legal because the House rules are so stupid that they didn't bother to write in there that it has to be a member of Congress. So it could literally be anybody. Hell, they could pick me to be Speaker of the House if they wanted to. And just throwing it out there for consideration, folks. I'm not going to turn it down if you want to pick me. I am uncorrupted, by the way, never taken any corporate money. However, once they pick Donald Trump as the President of the United States, right? Step 1A. Oh, excuse me, Speaker of the House. Step 1A. Now we're on to step 2. Step 2, and Stone says this is totally going to happen. Biden's cabinet is going to invoke the 25th Amendment. Because why not? Totally something that's definitely going to happen, right? That cabinet is going to get together and say, you know what? Aren't you just tired of the guy? Let's get him out of office. And Stone, of course, in his video that he put out explaining all of this, didn't even elaborate as to why they're going to use the 25th Amendment. Is he physically incapable of performing the duties as president? Is he mentally incompetent? I'm sure Republicans, they think so. But so far, we haven't seen that he is actually unable to do the job, and he's not doing crazy things that would make us think that he's not mentally capable of doing it. Is he as sharp as he once was? Absolutely not. Does that mean that he has some kind of mental problem? Definitely not. But anyway, that's step 2. And of course, the plan cannot exist without step 2, because then step 3, Kamala Harris becomes president of the United States, but they impeach her and remove her from office. The reason he says they would impeach her is because she, I guess, made the personal decision to not allow doctors to prescribe the horse dewormer to treat COVID. First of all, not a crime. So not exactly sure what you're going to charge her with. But either way, they impeach and remove Kamala Harris before she can nominate a new vice president, and the House and Senate would have to agree on that person for them to become the vice president. That's how the line of succession works. But before she picks the vice president, they impeach and remove her, according to Roger Stone. Then boom, Bob's your uncle, Donald Trump's president of the United States by virtue of the line of succession. Because he, of course, was Speaker of the House, as we discussed in point 1A. Whew. That's a lot of things that have to happen. But Roger Stone swears totally going to happen, right? We take back the House, we make Trump the Speaker, Biden gets removed via the 25th Amendment, Kamala Harris gets impeached, Trump's the president. Oh, my dear sweet Lord. Okay, the bigger question I have is why not just impeach Biden? Why do you have to rely on the 25th Amendment? Are you saying that Biden hasn't committed any crimes, but Vice President Harris has? That's what I don't get either. I mean, trust me, it's not like that's the only reason this whole plan falls apart. It's just, that's a little weird, right? Not to mention the fact that in order to remove a then President Harris, you would even have to have some Democrats on board, which means this plan falls apart immediately. Not to mention the fact that if she were to become president, she nominates her vice president that has to be approved by simple majorities in the House and the Senate. And it's unlikely that you're going to get every single Republican to vote against that. Maybe, right? Let's put a big question mark on that one, because who knows? We've seen Republicans vote against helping Americans during the pandemic, so sure, they probably would block President Harris's vice presidential pick. Either way, too many moving parts to this plan, too many things that have to happen just so in order for it to come to fruition. But ladies and gentlemen, that's Roger Stone, one of the most brilliant Republican minds out there. And this was the best he could come up with. Hey everyone, this is Aspen. And did you know that for the low cost of $0 per day, you can subscribe to the Fair and Balanced YouTube channel? We also encourage you to like, comment, and share. But again, click that subscribe button and help Aspen not be so grumpy.